fans, and welcome inside the Diamond Club, right outside the main concourse, where the Salem-Keizer Volcanoes just wrapped up their 5-game homestand against the Vancouver Canadians in their first series of the 2014 season. Jake, there was a lot of hype coming into this 2014 season. Needless to say, it might not have gone their way to start with.
Yeah, things weren't looking good for the Volcanoes in the start of this 5-game series. First 3 games, they were outscored 20-4 by the Vancouver Canadians. And it all started in Game 1, when 7 wild pitches were uncorked by the staff of the Volcanoes. That was actually a franchise record for wild pitches. In Game 2, they were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, followed by a 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position in Game 3. They also stranded 18 batters between the second and third game. So needless to say, things were not looking good for the Volcanoes after the first 3 games.
Game 4 seemed to be a little more of Vancouver dominance as they led the Salem-Keizer Volcanoes 8-1 entering into the 7th inning. But the Salem-Keizer Volcanoes had one final rally in them. They scored 6 runs in the 7th, tacked on 2 more in the 8th to respond to 1 Vancouver run to tie it up at 9 and force extra innings. In extra innings, the Volcanoes found themselves a couple of heroes. With the bases loaded and 2 outs, in the top half of the 12th, Tyler Hollick made a diving catch in center field to save the game for the Volcanoes. That took it to the bottom of the 12th inning, where T. Relaford led off the inning with a walk, was advanced to second on a sacrifice bunt by Ryan Jones, and it opened the door for Craig Massoni to be the hero. He laced a double into the right center gap on the first pitch he saw, winning the game for the Salem-Keizer Volcanoes.
Yeah, and needless to say, this was an enormous hit for the Volcanoes. After losing their first 3 games, that was a huge weight off their shoulders when they won that game.
Now, in talking to Massoni after the game, he was adamant that momentum would be carried over to Game 5, although at the start of the game it didn't appear to be that way. Vancouver got off to a hot start off of pitcher Jason Forget, scoring 3 runs in the top half of the first. They would take that lead into the 7th inning, where Jake, a little more 7th inning magic happened for the Volcanoes. They scored 1 in the 7th on an RBI single by Tyler Hollick and added on 3 more in the 8th, 2 of which came off the bat of Craig Massoni with a 2-run homer to left center field.
And Brandon, Craig Massoni was the hero in the previous night, and he comes in and gets it done with the 2-run homer. Craig Massoni, he's swinging a hot bat right now.
Now, after the 2-run homer tied the game at 3 runs apiece, the Volcanoes had 2 outs and nobody on. Seemed like the inning would be over. Will Callaway had other ideas with a double to dead center over the head of Ramon Fields. Fernando Pujadas then came up the very next hitter and doubled down the left field line, giving the Volcanoes a 4-3 lead and their 2nd win of the season.
And after those 2 impressive comeback wins, it's clear that the Volcanoes have a lot of confidence right now, and Hillsborough will have a very tough matchup against the red-hot Volcanoes.
And we'll wrap up this series by looking at the stat of the series. And with the Volcanoes trailing Vancouver 8-1 in Game 4 of this series, their 7-run come-from-behind victory was the largest come-from-behind victory in franchise history.
Here at Volcano Stadium, we love baseball, but that's not all we're about. We like to sometimes take it away from the field and interact with our fans through our social media networks. Our Instagram photo of the series comes to us from Shannon, who is a young girl who was able to get a picture with the concessions race participants. If you want a chance to be the Instagram photo of the series, tag Volcano Stadium in your post, or use the hashtag VolcanosBaseball. Shifting over to Twitter, we also have a tweet of the series, which comes from Liana Louis. She put it simply, Volcanoes #walkoff. Tag at S-K-Volcanoes or #VolcanosBaseball if you want a shot to be our tweet of the series.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Volcanoes TV. Stay tuned for more Volcanoes TV episodes, including some on a couple of interesting promotions at the ballpark, including Youth Sports Night, Orville Roth Night, and also this Saturday we'll have our 2 millionth fan walk through the gates. Well, he's Jake Strauss, I'm Brandon Chin, this has been yet another edition of Volcanoes TV.